Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. You are with me, Candy Pringle. It is time for 7 minutes. Each and every Sunday, I come to you and just request 7 minutes of your time as I teach, inspire, motivate, and empower. And I certainly want to thank each and every one of you. I hope your Sunday has been fantastic. I hope it has been a blessed Sunday for you. Today, I wanted to come with a message for you as we celebrate International Women's Day the other day. I thought it would just be so fitting and so appropriate to bring you a story regarding Naomi, Ruth, and Boaz. I just wanted to encourage women who are celebrating this week or this month, International Women's Week. And I just want to say, hey, Lisa, how are you? Beautiful. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. So I just want to get into the story. Some of you know about the story of Naomi. Some of you know about that story with her daughter-in-law, Ruth, and how they ran into Boaz. But today I entitled the message From Bitterness to Blessed. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the message. Now, first of all, I wanted you to know that the name Naomi means sweet and pleasant. And there was a woman, Naomi, of biblical times, and she had lost her husband. She had lost both of her sons, and she was left with both of her daughter-in-laws to care for, or to, in her family. That's all that she had remaining was her two daughter-in-laws. So she told them, she said, hey, I grant you all my blessings. You need to go back to where your mother is. Go back home. I'm going back to my home. And one of the daughter-in-laws, Orpah, she ended up staying in the town where they had lost, where she had lost her husband. However, the daughter-in-law, Ruth, Mara, for the Almighty has dealt with me very bitterly. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has testified against me, and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me? Now, the word Mara means bitter. So she didn't want to be called Naomi. She wanted to be called bitter. How many of us have lost things in our lives? We've lost friendships, relationships. Someone has talked bad about us. Someone has done something to us that has made us bitter. How many times have we seen on the news that someone has been incarcerated for many years for a crime that they did not commit? That would make me bitter. Naomi had lost her husband, her two sons, and she didn't want to be called Naomi anymore. She didn't want to be identified by her name. She wanted to be identified as being bitter. Sometimes when people are bitter, it's because they feel entitled or they feel like everyone is out to get them. Bitter people can be unappreciative. They can't congratulate others when they have successes. And I'm certain that all of us have encountered a bitter person before. I imagine that it can be hard to maintain and have friendships and relationships when you're bitter. But lo and behold, let me tell y'all, Naomi met a wealthy man by the name of Boaz. And Boaz, that name literally means strength. She found that Boaz had a right through his kinship to marry her daughter-in-law, Ruth. It gets better than that, y'all. She found strength for her daughter-in-law. Boaz married Ruth. He married this poor widow and a foreigner in his land where the mother-in-law was. And God used Ruth to be a part of the family line of David and Jesus. Now, come on. What can be better than using a poor woman to be the lineage of King David and Jesus? I think that's remarkable. It's incredible. Naomi went from being bitter to being blessed. You know, there's going to be times in our lives that things are going to happen. We're not going to understand it. We're not going to understand the whys. You know, we're not going to understand why do bad things always happen to good people? Why is life unfair? Why is that every time you take 2 steps forward, you get sent 5 steps back? But listen to me. From what I personally know, it's called purpose and destiny. You may not understand it right now, but it's going to lead you to your purpose. It's going to lead you to your destiny. Later, after Ruth becomes pregnant, the word says that the women approached Naomi again, and they said, "Blessed be the Lord, who has not left you this day without a redeemer. And may his name be renowned in Israel." Someone once said, the only way to get through it is to go through it. Yes, yes. Grief, suffering, doubt, pain, fear, hurt. Imagine what Naomi had to get through. In her life, the way that she had to get through that grief, she had to go through something. But once she got through it, it was all there for her. You know, I can never imagine how I would have felt losing my husband, losing both of my sons, the only family that I have. To lose them, of course, I might have felt bitter as well. You know, I remember losing my daughter, losing my granddaughter. I was bitter. I certainly was. But the bitterness led me to the blessing. And I tell you, anybody that's going through it right now, you need to know that it's going to get greater. You got to get through it. You got to go through it. They say it gets greater later. It certainly does. Naomi is a woman that I admire. I admire her strength. And as I think about Women's Week and International Women's Day, I think about how many women I admire, the things that we go through, and we can be so resilient. However, we have to understand that it's all a part of the blessing. It's certainly all a part of the blessing. Naomi stated that when she went away full. And when she came back empty. She didn't even realize how blessed she truly was. I want to give you 3 reasons today why you should get rid of the bitterness. The bitterness that is blocking your blessing. Let me tell you what, number one. Number one, unforgiveness blocks blessings. You've got to forgive them, forgive him, forgive her, but most importantly, you've got to forgive yourself. Number 2, unbelief blocks blessings. You've got to know that something is just around the corner, just over the rainbow, just beyond that mountain. You are going to be redeemed. Just hang in there. Number 3, Not being a blessing to others will also block your blessing. You've got to give up that knowledge, give up that wisdom, help people to understand that they too can make it. Give it up. Naomi was bitter and perhaps just didn't want to be bothered, but she met a man named Boaz and came back and told Ruth, I need you to go and meet that man. In the end, her life, her legacy, they were all immensely blessed. Remember, there's going to be things that are going to cause us to be bitter in this world. I know, I've been there, I've done that. But there's not a day that I don't walk around today with a smile on my face because I recognize my blessings. I understand that I had to go through it in order to get to it. I just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in with me today. I certainly appreciate all of the support that I get every Sunday. You all are truly a blessing to me. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you all.